My name is Fotoula Adrimi and I'm a shamanic teacher. In this little video, I wanted to answer a question that people ask me all the time. They ask me, how can I walk the shamanic path? And sometimes they ask me too, how can I be a shamanic practitioner? Because they love the shamanic healing and how it works, and they feel it within themselves, and there is a calling from the heart. So they ask this question, how can I walk this path and how can I help others? I really want to help others and become a shamanic practitioner. So, in answering this question, I will share a little bit of my own experience, how I became a shamanic teacher, and before that, how I became a shamanic practitioner. So I was born in Greece, and I was born in a family where the shamanic roots were still evident. So we still had ceremonies from both sides of the family, both from my mother and my father's side, ceremonies that really work, that come from a very old tradition. And these ceremonies, I later found out through studying shamanism in the West, that these ceremonies are very shamanic. They are shamanism. They are our local Greek shamanism. Still they are still being practiced. So there are ceremonies of what we call extraction, where we take heavy energies out of the body, where we clear the what we call the evil eye or the bad eye, um, where we remove entities from the person, where we remove intrusions from a person. So we have these ceremonies that work so quickly and are very effective. And we have other ceremonies like the blessings of the house, how to, when you build a house, how to make it strong, how to have a strong foundation there for future work, how to know whether something you are going to do is going to be successful or not through fire ceremonies, through working with the smoke. And seeing how the prayers and the invocations are answered, and to read the future on the bones of the Eastern Lamb. So these ceremonies were there when I grew up, and the shamanic pathway was open in my body. But nothing was ever explained because in Greece everything happens very much in secret. The person who does the work does not teach unless they are ready and they're very old and they really want to pass this knowledge before they die. So nothing is ever explained. And the word shamanic or shamanism is not a Greek word. We don't have this word in Greek. So we just call it the folklore magic. So when I came to the West, I lived very much a normal life, although my childhood was very difficult because I couldn't really fit in. I wasn't interested in what other people were interested in. I kind of had a very broader perspective about life that made it difficult for me because the Western world and Greece in particular has a very narrow way of how one should be and what should everybody believe in and what the culture is. It's a wonderful culture, but I found it very restrictive, especially with regards to religion and the place of a woman in spirituality. But to cut the long story short, when I was 30, I had a huge spiritual awakening, and I started to see and hear the spirits that I worked with as a child, because these were my spirit guides that I worked with very much until about I was 14. I really knew these beings, but they had kind of went away for me to grow up and go to university and do the things I needed to do. But when I was 30, they came back And they really came back, and I remembered everything, and things opened up for me. And then I found shamanism, and I found this calling, and I trained as a shamanic practitioner, and it was so natural for me. I knew this work. In my bones, I knew this work. But I really went and trained, and I had wonderful people training me. I trained with people from the Toltec tradition. I went to the States. I trained in classic shamanism with Sandra Ingerman. I did 3 vision quests in the desert, hearing the spirit in the silence, just without any food for 4 days, just sitting there in the emptiness of the space of the desert, and the air spoke so clearly. I did my sweat lodge training, have done 38 lodges as part of that. I did so much. Traveled around, I had visions, and I keep learning. I keep learning all the time. In my second vision quest, I had a message to go to Tibet. So I met in a vision a Himalayan shaman who is a friend and a teacher, Bola Panstola, and he came in the vision, and then I found him in real life and went to Tibet and Nepal and keep going back and meeting the indigenous shamans there, which is absolutely wonderful because these people have a tradition that has never been broken. A bit like our Greek tradition, that I got the remnants of something that had been there for a very, very, very long time. So this is my journey. I keep working, I keep learning, I keep studying. I find wonderful people, both Western shamanic teachers and native people, and I have been teaching since 2009. I had a calling. I had a very clear message: teach this work. I was already a shamanic practitioner. I had even done advanced shamanic studies by then. Years and years of learning. So I started to share the path as it is coming through by my helping spirits and all the experience that I have. So you need 2 things to do this work that are both very important. So for me, the first thing that is a prerequisite is that you find your connection with spirit, with enlightened, transcended beings who work for the highest good and wish to help you unconditionally. So you need that connection, however you perceive spirit, whether you just know it in your heart, whether you hear or see, or just have this incredible awareness that somebody is there talking to you and this is what they're saying to you. In your own way, you have that connection with spirit. That is something that is inherent in most people. In my case, the shamanic pathway was already open because those ancestors, those grandmothers and great grandfather had really been practicing, from the very, very long time, all their life. So it was there. But I have trained wonderful Western people whose grandparents and parents never knew anything about this, but they developed the calling. They developed the connection to spirit. And for some people, it's really easy. For others, they have to do a lot of work to open that pathway, but it can open. So this is the first thing that you need. And you may already have visions. You may already have guidance from the spirits telling you what to do and how to work. And that is so important because whatever a teacher will give you, a human teacher will give you, then the spirits will help you develop it in your own way and make it an art. It will be your art. And it will be so effective when you do that. The more you work, the more it will grow. But the second prerequisite, and it is as important, it's so important, is for you to find a really good human teacher who works from the heart, who really wants you to do this work and to thrive, who really will never take power from you, but to guide you to do this work for the highest good too, to share their own experience, to share their own wisdom. You need to know, you need to learn this method. It's more than a method, it really is this very old wisdom. And the teacher does two things. One, it transfers the power that they have accumulated from all their work, and it transfers that power to you. So you have a big starting point and you can just go there. You can fly if you wish. So it transfers the power as well as the knowledge that this is how it is done. Because there are some really good human rules that maybe, for the spirits are not so important because they are in that spirit realm, but for us humans are very important. How to create a sacred space, how to really make sure that you are protected, that the people who come to you are protected, how to journey safely, how to be able to discern the entities so they don't fool you and pretend that they're your guides, and how to be able to do extraction without taking on the illnesses of your clients. This is serious stuff, and it takes time to develop your shamanic muscle. So it's like sometimes, wanting to be a top athlete and you want to go to the gym, and yes, there are all these, instruments there. There are all these machines there, and you can go on the treadmill and you can go on the bike. But that will only take you so far. If you have a coach, if you have a personal trainer, it makes a huge difference. And if you want to work with others, if you really want to work with others and really hold space and heal people and really help them, and also do this with integrity for yourself, then you need to really invest in your education, to invest your time, your resources to learn your art. So this has been my journey. This is how I hold space and I teach this beautiful work that fills everyone's heart. You come to the place of learning and you feel transformed. Something happens because you are in this energy of light, this energy of spirit, and it's a very safe and beautiful space. People call it a homecoming. I feel at home. People say sometimes, I have never felt so at home all my life. So if you want to feel at home, and if you wish to create a space where other people feel at home, maybe shamanism is a way for you. I love sharing these ways. Thank you.